I'm holding pages and pages of accusations. Many of them say that they're still working to identify if their specific students and staff members have been impacted. That's why the U.S. Surgeon General wants to slap on a warning label. This was once known as Black Wall Street. Devices have sparked a national debate. School districts across the country are trying to figure out how to use cell phones in the classroom. It's part of the reason why here in Franklin County, they're putting resources towards growing pickleball in the area, considered to be an illegal desert. At this hour, they still have not publicly released the location. You can actually see it taxiing right now. That is Air Force 2. This proposal would move marijuana to that lower risk category. You can actually faintly see where it says Gaza. We've seen multiple people now coming along the emergency lane. This is the side of the road here. You can see pieces of that pavement here on the ground. It looks like a crater basically on the side of this road here, but I want you to take a look at how they have blocked this off. They've got cones here as well as trash cans because the town doesn't have enough signage to block off some of these hazardous roads. So they're telling people to still be careful in these areas. You can see there's still a lot of pooled water here. And I want you to take a look at this home as well. It's slanted and it looks like that flood water started to pull it over, but it managed to mostly stay in place. I talked to a couple not far from where I'm standing right now who tells me they had to fight for their lives.
I held my foot like that, my knee right there, and my head there.
Kathy Poole says adrenaline saved her and her husband, Richard Poole. The night floodwaters seeped into their home.
And I knew if it came through there that we were both drowned.
She really fought it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
That was why I was put on this earth.
Behind the tears, he knows this isn't the only battle they're fighting.
Her and her daughter and her brother all had cancer at the same time. And we lost her daughter and lost her brother. But she's still here. She's tough.
Good Lord left me here for a reason to help.
And she's thankful they'll have help on their long road to recovery.
Mainly what they needed for the moment was packing up things. They didn't have boxes, so we got boxes and totes and brought those.
Don't know how we're going to get through this, but somehow we will.
Well, Gerald police say that it all started as a shots fired call. Much of the investigation focused here just outside of the International Studies Center. I also spoke to students here on campus who say that they're trying to wrap their mind around everything that happened today. Multiple people huddled on Shaw University's campus, a campus building wrapped in crime scene tape.
Active shooter.
There is a male armed, multiple weapons.
Leroy Calhoun says he heard that gunfire.
And I just heard like 4 gunshots.
And shortly after that, his phone buzzed with this alert. It tells students to go to the nearest available room and lock the door.
Been hearing the helicopters and stuff.
We just told the professor and he was like, well, we're going to sit in here quiet, and he locked the doors.
Raleigh police say the suspect fired shots outside the International Studies Center. Staff members tell me students go to class on the bottom floor and the mosque is on the top floor. That's where an ABC officer found the suspect, according to radio traffic.
I just need somebody to come up here so I can get in custody.
Where my class was at, we could see out the window, and we saw like a bunch of police officers.
No one was hurt, but EMS did join officers on the scene. The suspect is in custody, taken after a medical emergency.
It's kind of traumatizing.
Sophomore Michaela Whitfield says they were in lockdown for about 30 to 40 minutes. But scenes like this, she says, she'll never forget. You can see this car here. The family that owns this car describes that it flew from the other side of the street and landed on this side. You can see the damage here. I talked to the daughter of the woman who owns this car. Can you explain to us again what you saw?
Where? Well, we were over there, and then the tornado got closer to us, and then everything was flying away in circles, and then the car was like going in circles, and my dad did something to make us stay alive, and then we get out, we get inside to pick up my mom, and then we left.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys are okay. Yeah. Thank you for describing that. Her father previously told me, you know, he believes in God and he's just thankful that they were okay. To be clear, they weren't in the car. They went across the street to pick up her mom from work. And then that's when they saw a car nearby fly across the street during the midst of that storm. If I take you this way, you can really see kind of the path of where that storm was coming from. You can see the debris here at this shopping center. The windows are completely blown out here at this hookah lounge. And we also talked to a woman who works in the shopping center who says that it was a devastating situation that they'll continue to build on.
When it came, all I heard was the sound or the howl of the tornado, and we ran for cover. I had a patient on the inside with me, but thankfully, him and I, we're okay.
How are you feeling with all of this now?
Obviously, I'm a little bit shaken up, but I will be okay. Business will be replenished, and there's no doubt in my mind that it was nothing but God.
She felt very strongly about that because if you remember, it wasn't that long ago when a tornado hit Rocky Mount not far from here. So she knows that they will continue to rebuild. Obviously, they have a lot of work to do, but there are a lot of crews out here, a lot of people out here who are working to help their neighbors and help this community rebuild from here. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News in Rocky Mount. Many of the guests that I spoke to here today say that they've been staying here for months or even years. But now, because of the conditions here, roughly 150 people are faced with the challenge of finding a permanent place to stay. Do not enter, plastered in green, outside the place many have called home.
We don't know what's going to happen next.
An uncertainty that's packed in the trash bags that carry their personal belongings.
We just all confused.
Guests had a noon deadline to leave the 121 motel. That's when energy crews came and cut the power to the property. While some guests didn't want to leave, the city and the state say it's not safe.
This condition right here, they cannot stay. We was told the kids been getting sick here.
One guest told me a sick child was taken to the hospital. The medical staff believe the illness was linked to black mold. The Department of Health and Human Services says an awning fell at the motel back in April. That's when inspectors found multiple health violations. They say the motel manager didn't tell its guests that they were supposed to leave. Instead of weeks, they had days.
They basically only had about a day and a half to get this organized.
That's where these volunteers come in, offering rides and getting essentials from the store.
And let them know they're not alone and just offer them some hope.
Churches and community groups are working to find them a more permanent, stable place to stay.
I mean, these people, although they had a roof over their head, they were kind of right next to it. And so now that that roof has evaporated, we don't want them to turn into a homeless statistic.
A statistic, Parham says, can happen anywhere.
We can't keep turning a blind eye to homelessness. It doesn't affect just Raleigh. It certainly affects small towns, too.
Destiny Patterson, WRAL News. St. Augustine's University's financial situation has been described as dire. That seriousness has trickled down to the very people who keep it running.
I don't know how I would even have gas money for next week or food for my family next week.
WRAL Investigates checked in with the Labor Department. As of Monday, the department has opened 22 cases involving the school since last December. 4 of them have been resolved so far. This employee says they're missing 7 paychecks dating back to March 22nd.
And it's hard because it's been going on for approximately 6 months, trying to make ends meet.
And you say 6 months because they were previously delayed as well.
Right.
So why stay?
You've committed to seeing the students through. The next step is to save yourself. But also, you want to be hopeful, too.
WRAL Investigates obtained this letter written by the Board of Trustees Chairman Brian Boulware. In it, it says, quote, SAU will announce an immediate short-term financial solution to address payroll, student refund compensation, and other urgent operational funding needs. I reached out to the school spokesperson for more specifics about this short-term solution. He told me interim president Dr. Marcus Burgess would not be available to share any updates regarding pay or the university's situation at this time.
But week after week, it seems like there is an excuse. And it's kind of hard to trust someone when you cannot see the clear picture. It's almost like, just trust me. I'm not going to let you fall.
As another pay period comes and goes, faculty and staff are left hoping that real answers will come. Over the last several months, churches and alumni groups have given donations to these faculty and staff to help them out in the meantime. Meanwhile, the university is still in danger of losing its accreditation. That's in part because of these financial issues, including unpaid taxes and bills. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News. Good afternoon, I'm Destiny Patterson. You're watching WRAL News Plus. Sky 5 flew over a neighborhood near downtown Raleigh. Take a look. This is where police say a woman was hit by a car. It happened on Haywood Street near West Martin Street. Sections of the road were taped off. You can see it there in that video. Police say there was a dispute near a car. The woman hit by the vehicle is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. A police investigation appears to be centered on another home. WRAL is working to learn what happened there and if charges will be brought forth. Duke Health and United Healthcare have reached a deadline deal that lets more than 172,000 Duke patients keep their doctors. They've been negotiating a new deal for months. 5 on Your Side previously reported the current contract was set to expire today, and today is when both sides announced that they reached a multi-year agreement. As of today, nearly half of all registered voters in North Carolina have cast their ballots. More than 49% of voters have already voted. Early voting ends tomorrow at 3 p.m. So if you still need to register or make changes to your registration, you have to do so, and you must vote during early voting. Now, I want to give you guys a live look outside. You can see that cloud cover moving in as we move later into this Friday evening, but don't let that fool you. It's supposed to be a really nice weekend. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione has a first look at today's forecast.